Welcome to Bridge the Atlantic. We are your hosts, Ross Barber
and Marciano Valley.
And today we're joined by singer-songwriter Nick Thomas of the Spill Canvas and the Nick Thomas Band. With the Spill Canvas, Nick toured the US and the UK, playing with artists including the Goo Goo Dolls, Motion City Soundtrack, and One Republic. And the band released 7 albums and 5 EPs between 2002 and 2012. Nick's latest project is Nick Thomas Band, and they recently released their new album Shadowars. And we're looking forward to getting to know Nick and hearing more about the new record. So, hey, Nick, how's it going?
It's going very well. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, thanks for coming on the show, brother.
You're welcome.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
That sounded weird, Ross. I thanked him for coming on the show and you said you're welcome. That was awkward.
Sorry. I am very awkward.
It's okay, Ross.
People probably know this by now.
Speaking of awkward, we like to start out all our shows by asking our guests 3 things about themselves that everyone should know.
Oh, I did see this. I read up. I studied. Nice. I did my research.
Preparation.
This was the worst question, I thought, because I'm like the self-deprecating lead singer guy. But can you repeat that one more time?
Sure. 3 things about yourself that everyone should know.
So they could be bad, too.
Oh, well, I guess. I don't think we've had any bad ones yet. That'd be great.
That question lends itself to sound like positive things about yourself.
Now, what does this say about you, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. I think the 3 things anyone should know about me is that I'm a slave to music and the creative process. I mean, obviously that's what I do. It's my job and my life, but I'm kind of I'm an advocate for it being like something that can change lives and change the world and all that kind of grandiose stuff. But I'm a big music nerd. I like cartoons probably more than I should, being my age, and that's not a throwaway. That's a honest statement.
Oh, I'm with you on that, brother. It's all good.
God, that's such a tough question.
Well, let me help you then. What's one of your favorite cartoons? Or the top 3, your top 3 favorite cartoons?
Now, this might, Adventure Time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like my jam right in there, right in that little area.
Love it.
If SpongeBob's on and no one's around, I will watch it. But I mean, it's like terrifying. I mean, that show.
It's an amazing show.
It's so much more on so many levels.
Yeah.
Beyond the little kid aspect, but there's that, and then like I'm a big fan of like Bob's Burgers and stuff.
Yeah, Bob's Burgers is awesome.
Yeah, I love that that guy that writes it and does the voice of Bob. He's one of my favorite writers.
Have you ever watched Archer?
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
I do. Archer. Yeah, that's in my top 10.
I forget his name too. Sure. Archer, Simpsons, Family Guy. Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, it's like that whole thing, and I don't know, Adult Swim. A lot of those kind of weird cartoons are fun for me. But
awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a bad answer, but
it's not a bad answer. Ross, do you like cartoons?
Some, yeah, like I like American Dad and Family Guy.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Archer, Bob's Burgers. Yeah,
I was half expecting you to say, some adult cartoons. No, it's all good. We all watch that. He comes out with it. It's all
SpongeBob,
good.
Dora the Explorer.
It's all right. See, I have an excuse. I have a 2-year-old, so I mean, I have to watch these. I mean,
oh man,
Marcia, don't deny it.
She made me watch that marathon all day.
Oh man, SpongeBob again.
Although you love Barney.
No,
Barney is your ultimate favorite.
I don't like Barney. I cannot.
You do. You love Barney.
I actually like tell my son, no more Barney. You're not allowed to watch Barney.
You could like zone out on that, but
I find him creepy though.
Yeah, you know what's even creepier I've found is that Yo Gabba Gabba show.
Yeah.
Yo Gabba Gabba's on Nickelodeon. I mean, it's like, if you weren't a kid, it's like you're tripping on acid watching, and you're like...
man, yeah, for sure. What? The Wiggles freak me out, too.
Yeah. It's just all bad acid trips, but little kids, they love that stuff. So.
What, the acid trips?
No.
The cartoons?
Hopefully just the cartoons.
Hopefully just the cartoons.
Yeah.
Ross does not condone this.
Crazy.
I know. We're gonna we need a censorship rating.
Disclaimer.
So back to the Spill Canvas.
Yes.
You guys released 7 albums and 5 EPs in 10 years. How did you do that? Like,
I don't know.
I guess that was more than one a year then.
Yeah, there was for the moment in time there, the EPs kind of stacked up towards the end of our Spill Canvas career with Warner Brothers, which is kind of towards the tail end of where it is kind of up to the present day. But it was just, there's a lot of some of it was to complete our contractual obligation with Warner Brothers. We were kind of butting heads and not really getting our stuff across. I ended up doing some co-writes for the few EPs and one of the records for Spill that I didn't really like. I wasn't writing with the three guys I grew up writing with, so it was a weird time, but I mean, we just kept making music. It's crazy to hear that out loud. I didn't know that was even possible.
So is that pressure from the label to get you to write with other people? And
yeah, it really was. Once, because we had written "No Really I'm Fine" came out in 2007, and that had "All Over You" on it. That single that was mildly successful and brought us to a certain level. So once they saw I could do that, it was like, okay, he's like this guy. He's going to do these hit songs, and then let's rip him out of his comfortable environment, and put him with all these other, which is fun. It was really cool to have that experience, but ultimately, I absolutely despised it. It was just bad timing for me too, personally. So, I'm still proud of what we did, though, what we managed to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ross, you have a little story to share, don't you?
I have a few stories to share, but I'm actually told one of my friends I was going to share the story, and it's actually not even. It's like pretty much a non-story. It's like basically a sentence.
I told her
that I was going to tell you this, and she was not happy with me. But I'm going.
No, I want to hear it now. I want to hear it.
Which friend is this, Ross? Call her out.
My friend Carly. Okay. Hey, Carly.
Oh, Carly.
You're going to watch this.
Carly.
Oh, sweet Carly.
Oh, she's going to be. No words.
Over the moon? Can we say? To sound really lame?
I like that.
So yeah, when you were in Glasgow, you were playing with Straight Light Run?
Yes, that was Straight Light Run to WoW. Yeah.
And it was, I think it was 2004, 2005. I'm not sure. Around about then. Anyway.
Right around there, yeah.
Yeah, so you were King Tut's in Glasgow, and we came along to see, and I think not many people over here knew who the Spill Canvas were at that point. Yeah. I think they did a few years later, but at that point, I think like the five of us that went were the only people who knew who we were. So we were like, but we were like obsessed. Like there was like five of us. We were like crazily obsessed. Awesome. So we stood up on this little bench at the side, and you started talking about, it was the Tide that you were introducing.
Yeah.
And as soon as Carly clocked what song it was, she like screamed, and like this really loud scream. And then you looked at her and you waved at her, and she just did not shut up about that for I don't know how long. She was
waving at her.
You waved at her, and I think you made her like 18-year-old life at that point.
Carly.
She probably made mine. Carly probably made mine, making me feel at home, so far away. I think that was one of the first times we were ever, I'd been out of the country. Mm-hmm. So I was, I was loving it, but any response at that point was like, oh my gosh, someone across the ocean listens to my crap, So,
I think it was at a time as well before like social media had kind of taken off the way that it has now. Because I think I heard about you guys through, it's probably Absolute Punk.
Yeah.
I think it probably would have been.
Yep.
And there just wasn't the kind of social media presence. No. So I think it was probably more difficult for bands to come over here from the US.
It was so much tougher then. I mean, it's weird because I don't remember the time before social media and like that big tool of being able to use it. I mean, it's like imperative now to do music and to really network and all that kind of stuff. But it makes me feel old to like think we were just on the cusp, like before, like on Friendster and MySpace.
Well, I was going to say, I've apparently got a hair like around here. I was driving this. That was around the MySpace days. I was like, you said 2004, Ross?
Yep.
2005? Yeah, that's just when MySpace was kind of. So possibly that was a tool that kind of...
It was very helpful, but gosh, that's so cool. To tell Carly, thanks.
I will. And the other story involves Carly as well.
Why don't
with
we'll space them out, Ross.
Are you sure? Okay.
Okay, no, let's do it. Why not?
This one's really a non-story. This is just something that we did.
That's what you said about the first one.
That was a story.
The first one was a little bit more of a story.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really have like an ending. This story, Carly and I were at a party, and for some reason, like everyone was like dancing around. And we were like, no, we want to put the Spill Canvas on. So we like invaded the stereo and a CD.
And that party died.
And we put the CD on. No. But Carly and I decided to act out the songs in the middle of the party. So it was Under the Covers from Sunsets and Car Crashes.
That's a tough one to
so
act
I was you. I was singing your part, and Carly was singing the female backing vocals. And we acted out the song, and I don't really remember what happened after that, but we acted it.
So that was the point, I think, of the party and the song, is that you wouldn't remember. I mean, so you had a good time then. Yeah, that's what I wrote that song
It was fun. Yeah. It was fun. I remember that memory very vividly. It was just before I went away to university. It was just that was like the last kind of big get together that all of us had at that age before we all went off to our different cities. Yeah. So it was
so Blink-182.
That's cool. I'm glad.
Blink-182 going away to college. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm so glad I could be. It's weird because I have a lot of those memories too, that certain songs or artists like evoke around like pivotal moments in my life, and it's just weird for me to be one of those, because I hold those in such high regard and like such high esteem, in my opinion, those songs and artists that helped me, or just not help, but just were there. So it's kind of cool that I could be one of those, I guess. Or I'm sorry if it was terrible.
Oh no, it was all positive things, so it's all good.
Well, first of all, I love your modesty, and it's also I think fans. I hate to use that word, but I think fans don't realize, like you said in that story of Carly screaming out to you, you're on stage in out of the country for the first time. She probably didn't realize what that probably did to you at the time to make you feel like, oh my God, people are here to see us. Like, this is great,
Yeah, definitely.
So
that's the thing.
That's the beauty of it.
Side, on the flip side of the coin, the fan is their role is so much more important than I think they get credit for personally. Definitely. But with the social media stuff now, it's easier to show fans like our thanks instead of just saying thank you, at a show.
Exactly.
So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that's awesome.
So our friend Tyler Hilton.
I do. Tyler.
Yeah. He kicked off our podcast. He was the first guest that we launched with.
Tyler's cool.
He's a great guy. Ross knows him even more personally than I do.
Yeah.
He's been credited as Tyler's first Scottish
European friend.
European?
Really?
Wow,
Picked him up off the streets.
Oh my lord.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I know. It was his first time in Europe. I didn't really know that. We were introduced by a mutual friend, and because his first show of the UK tour was in Glasgow, and and my friend was just like, hey, do you want to meet up, and just so he's not completely alone. So I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't really know who Tyler was at that point. Tyler knows all this. Don't worry, Tyler's heard all this stuff before. So it was cool. We went out for dinner, and then I went to see his show the following day. And we've been in touch ever since. I've worked with him on his website and his new album.
Awesome.
And
he just did his new album.
Really cool.
He has a new record out?
Yeah, it's just topping on iTunes right now, actually.
Oh my gosh,
Ross did the album cover for it. Check it out. Really good.
I'm going to write that down.
Really good. Yeah,
you should.
That's awesome.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's different than what he's done. It's a lot more chill and beautiful.
Yeah, more stripped back kind of.
Nice.
Kind of vibe.
Beautiful. His voice really shines through it.
Oh yeah, we did. I remember we did the tour we did with him. We had some radio shows in the mornings and afternoons, and me and him would always team up and kind of hit the radio together to promote both of us and the show, and we would do these like stripped down acoustic things for the radio staff, or however they set it up. But he was always so much. I always liked him so much better, just totally stripped down. And gosh, he's awesome though. He was cool.
Definitely.
It was weird to see him on TV after that tour, because I didn't watch the show.
I was the same.
And then I was like laying in bed after the tour, and I was just relaxing, and I was like, what? And I first, for like a whole half hour, I thought I was just kind of dreaming. And then I was like, oh my gosh, that's totally him. Yeah, he's awesome though.
I do want to talk to you about the Nick Thomas Band now. This is where you're at right now. You have a new album called Shadowars out, which is a great title, by the way. And I've got to say, it debuted at number 13 on the iTunes alternative charts.
Yeah.
That was amazing, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. It's
really
crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm so proud of it. I mean, it's a long journey for me with that record and or this new record, I guess. The songs and the content, they were spanned out, strewn out over 5 years, I think. So some music was there already written, and I just repurposed old lyrics and stuff. And I was going through a really tough time personally, and dealing with a lot of tough stuff. And so I didn't know if I was going to do music again, and the guys in the Spill Canvas, a couple of them got married. So it was things were dissolving a bit in that front. So I had to fill the void a bit with some music. And I did a Kickstarter for the record for Shadowars, and it took a little longer than I thought it would have to get everything out and complete. But by the time, currently, we're finally moving along, and I got some great players with me, and it's crazy. I can't believe I'm here, to be honest. So it's awesome.
It's a great record, by the way. I've been listening to it on repeat all day.
Oh my gosh.
I was a little late to the party, though. I don't know why I didn't catch on that it was.
However long it takes, I don't mind.
Music finds you, Ross. You can't find music. Music finds you when the time is right. That's what I believe.
So true. It's so true.
I think it was late this time, so
that's okay.
I'm going to have a word.
That was my fault. My bad.
What sort of, how would you describe the difference between writing for your new band versus your old band?
Honestly, it's kind of tough because it's not really that different, because I would always bring the nugget of the idea and the melody and all the lyrics to Spill Canvas, but it was then we would just flesh it out together, so it's just a little different this time. For this record, I had Landon from Spill Canvas. All the guys from Spill played on the record. Nice. But Landon, the bass player, he actually is in the Nick Thomas Band, so it's kind of still familiar. I'm comfortable with him, and live I have a different setup, but for this record, the writing was just so, it's weird. I almost feel like I haven't done that yet, because I wrote, for the most part, the new things on every song, but they were such old ideas that just never got touched. And so they just kind of became my thing, and maybe just not the direction Spill was looking to go, a little more bluesy, and I love R&B and stuff, and I don't know, I tried to mix it up as much as I could, but it was more like a scrapbook of this long, ridiculously tough road that I was on, for the last 2-3 years or so.
Well, so, I think fans of the Spill Canvas will like it, but at the same time, I think it's your own direction. It's another project. Nice. It doesn't just sound like the Spill Canvas.
That was the plan, because it'll always sound like Spill with my voice.
Of course.
But the different writing styles, and I tried to bridge the gap a little bit with some of the songs, the single circles and lines. Landon and I wanted it to be as rocking as a Spill song might be, so we kind of fleshed that out accordingly. But I couldn't be more proud of it. I just want to get new stuff out now.
Nice.
So.
And you want to come back over to the UK?
Oh my gosh, I'll be there tomorrow. Does tomorrow work?
Anytime. You're welcome anytime. I will drop any plans I have.
How serious is it?
Work for me.
So you're currently on tour?
No, well, we were.
You were on tour, yeah.
Yep. All of November, we did a run with an artist named Delisa, Mike Delisa, and a band, Cassio Monroe. And that was awesome. It was the first Nick Thomas band tour with the new players and stuff. And did all of November in the Northeast of the U.S. and then came back for the holidays. And so we're just at home kind of recuperating. And then we go west for December.
Nice.
go out to the west of the U.S. Yeah, we leave in like a few days.
You're slowly beating the winter. Isn't it a lot nicer at west? Or, in comparison, at least.
There's no snow out there, so
Nice.
I need to get out of where I am immediately because I can't.
You can't complain though. I'm in Canada. Well, not just Canada.
Yeah, I know.
Well, actually, I'm in the warmest part of Canada, so I mean.
Yeah, that's not bad there, but
No.
I think we probably have the most similar climate.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Similar.
Isn't Glasgow just like depressing, Bill?
It's okay. I'm not from Glasgow, so I can say this.
Okay.
I mean, it rains.
And there goes all the listeners in Glasgow.
I didn't mean. I was sad.
Kidding. I guess Nick won't be coming back to Glasgow.
No, I was terrified of that place. I'm not gonna lie. The venue guys told us not to go outside the venue.
What?
And not to talk. We were just in a rough part, maybe.
No, I mean the venue is in the city center where you were. Like if you go out the back door of the venue, it's kind of like a really dodgy alley kind of thing.
Yeah,
but like the front's okay. But I mean it's changed a lot since you were there. I think it probably is a lot nicer now than it was. 10 years ago.
I would rather live there than here still. So I'll definitely be back soon as possible.
So speaking of touring, do you have any sort of funny stories that stand out to you from over the years, all your years of touring, or like some sort of weird experience maybe you've had with a fan? That sounds.
I'm not going to tell any of those. But
Ross, I feel like that might sound a little.
I wasn't involved in any of these experiences, by the way.
No. It could be construed both ways. It could land on both sides.
Or all sides.
All sides, probably.
Maybe there is no side.
There's no side.
It's a sphere.
It's a sphere. It's a
Yeah,
fixed sphere.
I love it.
I mean, the big thing for me, the coolest thing for me is, I mean, all fans are my lifeblood. I literally probably would not be alive without them and like the project and the music. But like when they have tattoos like of lyrics, and there's a lot of lyric tattoos and that just never. I mean, there's a couple there's a girl that has my face tattooed on her.
Whoa.
What's that like? No, that's cool, man.
It's crazy. Yeah. The words are cool and like kind of hard to wrap my head around. But when someone has my face on them forever, I'm never going to be able to, I mean, it's great. It's incredible. I just don't.
Nick, where is this tattoo?
It's like on her like hip. It's down near the good parts. Near the good stuff. Down south. But
it's down south. Okay.
I mean, I had to look.
As long as it's not on the bottom of her foot and she's always stepping on your face.
You hold a special place in my heart on the bottom of my foot. It's the lyrics really. Lyric tattoos are so cool to see. Definitely. I never get over that. Some people have my signature. I sign them and they go get it tattooed, and they come back to the show like. The next day they'll travel to the show and show me. It's just crazy to me. But other than that, I did think of one story when I was prepping.
What do you mean prep? I don't know what you're talking about. This is completely unplanned.
When I was prepping just now.
Oh, just now. I got it. That's how fast he is.
Just because it's cold outside and starting to get cold here, and ice and snow and freezing, and I just was reminded of this hilarious story back in the Spill days. We played Minnesota, like northern Minnesota, up near Canada somewhere. Or no, North Dakota. So just nothingness. But it was a great show, Kids came out. It's like around the holidays, and we were home from tour. So just drove up, expecting to drive right back. So drove up. And we heard there's a bad storm coming. Okay, whatever, we'll just take it slow all the way back home. It was before Christmas, ready to get home, just relax. And we got a flat tire. And so it's like, okay, we keep the spare in the trailer. So we were like, okay, well, let's get the spare and we'll go. But we can't, it's so bad outside that we're driving like 20, 25, and we can't get the lock open. And so we're trying to heat it, but we're getting it's blowing. It's like blizzarding. There's no way. And so we have a full tank of gas. So we're just sitting there and we call AAA, and they say it's going to be like 3 hours.
Oh God.
And so we're like, okay. And there's no one. I mean, it's just literally desolate. No one's driving, and this stuff is so stupid of us to try. So we had to get a locksmith from AAA, that was going to be coming, but all of us started to have to pee and started to get hungry. So I was like, I got it. And so I pissed in a bottle, and then I poured my hot pee all over the lock to like unfreeze the lock. And I mean, obviously I had to get it off, and we had to throw the lock away, but
you could have sold that on eBay.
You could have, yeah. Is it Carly? Carly might take it.
Ask Carly if she wants my piss lock.
Oh, do you know what? I actually have so many stories about Carly that involve peeing, but let's not get into them right now.
What?
No, seriously.
Now I want to meet this girl.
I feel like she has.
Sounds like a party girl.
Yeah, she sounds like fun. I'm sure she sounds like a good one.
She's a good one.
I'm being honest. That sounded condescending. I'm not. Yeah. So that was one of my favorite ones.
Oh my God.
Was the facing death, my MacGyver pee story.
I hope you wash your hands.
You know what?
Pee's an antiseptic, though.
Yeah,
it
and
cleans his hands.
Still,
I put a lot of hand sanitizer on.
On what?
On my hands, but they were covered in pee. So, I mean, I kind of at that point was, I pissed all over myself. I mean, I had pee all over. But it was so cold that it was just
I think we have the headline for this show, Ross.
Yeah, I think we do.
Nick Thomas pisses all over himself.
All over myself.
We don't know what's happening, Nick. He's just peeing himself now, and
we're gonna get a lot of new listeners.
Oh yeah.
On such an inspiring note, what sort of advice would you give to aspiring musicians that would like to reach the success that you've reached?
Man, I mean, I just feel I lucked out, entirely. As much as I wish it weren't so, I've seen and heard a lot of incredible artists and bands that just were never able to get that, It's tough because you have to have resilience, and be resilient to weather the storm for however long it might take. I mean, if you're supposed to do music and it's just in you and it's that drive and that passion, you're never going to stop. I mean, until life, you're faced with that, like, okay, grow up and be a dad or be the old creepy guy who's still chasing his dream,
Well, I'm right here, man.
Both.
I knew it was going to come off like that. I knew it was going to come off.
I'm the creepy dad.
No.
This interview's over.
All right, see you guys. No, it's not that, because we've toured with a lot of bands that have kids, and families,
of course,
and then they bring the families on the road, and it's just it's like you have to be ready for. It's a terrible, it's a terribly cruel industry, and as much as that sounds kind of, I call them champagne problems, because it's like
problems.
Yeah, rich people problems. They're not real problems that you're struggling, but you get paid to, play music and hang out with your friends. But in all honesty, I mean, it's a pretty tough business to be in. But again, without that, I would not be here. I wouldn't be alive probably. And it's crazy. It's for anyone trying to do it, you cannot. It's so cheesy, but you can't give up. And you just have to be prepared to really have moments when you're the only one that believes, because that's just kind of how it is. But that's what makes it so much more rewarding in the end, I think, is that you kind of made it through something, however tough that was.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good advice. All right, brother. Are you ready for 20 questions?
I saw this. I mean, yes.
It's okay. Everyone knows.
Okay,
Everyone
cool.
knows.
I'm ready.
All right, and here we go.
Coffee or tea?
What? Say it again?
Oh.
Coffee.
Meat or veggies?
Meat.
CD or vinyl?
Vinyl.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Burritos or tacos?
Tacos.
Tacos. Twitter or Facebook?
Neither. Does that count? Facebook. Probably Facebook. Probably
Instagram?
Facebook. Yeah. Friendster. I don't know if you've heard of it.
MySpace? There's this new thing popping out, MySpace, 10 years ago.
North Dakota or South Dakota?
South Dakota. 1,000%.
Brand new or Taking Back Sunday?
Brand new. All the way.
Indie or major?
Indie.
Celine Dion or Marilyn Manson?
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
For sure.
Paramore or Fall Out Boy?
Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna have to go with Paramore, probably.
Okay, Ross, thanks for having me ask this question. Fry bread or Kuchen? In brackets,
Kuchen.
yes.
Yeah.
Official U.S. state foods of South Dakota, apparently.
Yeah. I've never had
Thanks for that, Ross.
I saw Kuchen at the grocery store last night. Sounds terrible. Looks
It
terrible.
does sound really... The sentence sounds strange.
Sounds
to me.
terrible.
You saw Kuchen?
Yeah, I saw it in the freezer, just sitting there. Just right in the open for everyone to grab. I'm going to go with the other one then, not Kuchen.
Fry bread?
Fry bread. Yep.
Oh, my Lord.
Now I'm going to have to go try some of that. I'm making a note of that.
Let us know how that goes for you.
Try Kuchen. Okay. All right.
Sucker Survive or Alexis on Fire?
Sucker Survive.
I love how you say that, Ross. It's so adorable.
How? Did I say it wrong?
No. You say it because you're from Scotland.
I used to think it was Alex is on fire.
No.
For
Okay, yeah, you were one of
time
the.
ago.
You were one of those.
Years.
Yeah. No, I mean circa. I say circa survive. You said how'd you say
Yeah.
it? Say it. Say it again.
Survive.
Say how do you say circa survive? It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's cute.
Circle Survive.
Was that your
Circle
American?
Survive?
No, I wanted to hear you say it normally.
Can I do a
Circle Survive.
sidebar? Is Gordon Ramsay from your country?
He's from Scotland. He is from Scotland, but I think he's lived in England for a long time, so he doesn't really have much of a Scottish accent anymore.
I just, for some reason, I'm obsessed with Gordon Ramsay shows.
Oh, me too. I love all.
I always thought he had an
quitting
angry
TV.
accent.
He's quitting TV though. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't
It's
have probably has enough money.
Oh yeah.
He'll still be. Oh gosh, I think he's awesome. Okay, go ahead. You're better. You're the best. You're the best Scotland person I've ever met.
He's less angry. That's what I've got to say about Ross. It's a lot less angry, a lot less terrifying.
Yeah, I would say so.
Canada or Scotland?
Scotland. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's because I've been to Canada so many times and I don't
And it's so
understand.
boring.
Oh, so you're the type of guy that's with, if you're with a girl, you've been with her so long, so I mean, at least the new
Yep.
one's new.
Plus, I don't understand poutine. I just don't.
That's more of a French Canadian thing. It's more like a Quebec thing. I mean, we have it here, but it's not like as big of a thing.
No,
in
I
Ontario.
remember. Yeah, I don't like French Canada. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. France is across the ocean.
I've got no comments.
So a really important question.
Yes.
And I'm very interested in this answer, as I always am.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson or Michael Bolton?
Michael Jackson.
Do you even think about that, Ross? Because he knows what's up.
1,000%.
There we go. Okay.
I mean, yeah, he
We
got.
could be friends, but
I just watched a documentary
Which
recently about Michael Jackson. I mean, he got so crazy towards the end there and everything, but
Which document? Because I saw like the This Is It one, but
there's that one. It was like on Netflix, like one of those. It's like an unauthorized thing.
I'll go check it. Was it good?
It was good. It was. I mean, This Is It's probably the best out of those, but just from like the old Michael Jackson and what he did, and like just as a kid, like just unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
So crazy good. But later, Michael Jackson is just kind of scary and gross to me. But that's just
Sorry, Michael Jackson fans.
there's no way they agree with that. They liked him earlier too.
Twerk or work?
Work.
Thank you. He knows what's up. Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Ricky Gervais or Ricky Martin?
Ricky Gervais.
Sorry, Ross, but
But you always apologize. I don't care about Ricky Martin.
You have.
I thought I thought you were the Ricky Martin guy. I was the Ricky Gervais because
Ricky
you don't
Martin.
like Ricky Gervais.
You don't like Ricky Gervais? You'd rather live La Vida Loca.
Ross is always
Maybe.
living La Vida Loca.
I can
Always.
tell. I can tell.
Totally.
Always.
That's me. That's me all over.
Nick,
Totally.
whale or kale?
Whale. Kale is a vegetable. I'm like 12 upstairs.
At least you don't watch Never mind.
Nope.
So, Bette Midler or the Riddler?
The Riddler. Or just both.
And the last and final question. This is the most important question you're going to be asked, probably in your whole life. Probably, I think. I mean, that might be a bit of an extreme, but anyway, the question is Ross or Marcio?
Oh my God! Why would you guys do that? Both.
Oh, come on.
You never said when I looked, and there was no discrepancy as to what the answer, yes or no, or both, could be.
Okay, we'll accept it.
Yeah, we need to tighten up these rules.
Yeah,
How about-
we do, eh?
How about your names together?
Let's see what you can come up
Marcio.
with.
You could come up with
Marcio. Oh, that's a new one, Marcio.
Moss.
We've had Moss.
I've had Moss, yeah.
Moss Marcio. That's a new amalgamation of both of us.
Boss.
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 Where's the B coming from? Oh, Barber. Oh, I see. So it's just Ross Barber, Boss. I see what it is.
So really, he's subconsciously saying me.
I think so. It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned to accept it. It's all right.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that because I don't want to hurt your feelings. But
Marcio doesn't have feelings. Or none that matter anyway.
he is Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So what's on your iPod or not to be so... Wait, do you have an iPod? Or iPhone?
I don't anymore. I lost it.
Okay, so
But-
whatever equivalent you have, MP3 player from 10 years ago, maybe from the MySpace days, the big like MP3 players like that held like 10
What are
songs.
they? Yeah. What are they? What's the
So
one?
cool.
It was like the Zune. Zune.
Oh,
I
remember that
had
one,
the
yeah.
Zune. Yeah.
Yeah, the Zune.
Yeah. Bring back the Zune.
Well, lately there's this band called Bad Sons.
Okay.
Just bad SU like the sun.
Mhm.
Bad Sons. And they have a record out called Language and Perspective, and it's oh my gosh, it's one of the first records I've heard in a long time that I can listen through the whole thing. And they're just such a tight band and like really catchy and interesting, kind of groovy stuff, but just like super catchy. There's a band called All Get Out, like ALL Get Out. It's hard to. I tried to tell my friends to listen.
All
to
Get
it.
Out.
They're like, "What?
I'll get out?
Like I will?" And it's just All Get Out, and they have like a brand new kind of sound, really
Cool.
kind of dirty, but super good too. And then the Coheed and Cambridge drummer has a rap project.
What?
If you've never heard
I
it,
don't know about this.
I still love Coheed and Cambria.
yeah, that's one of my favorite bands, and I like all kinds of stuff. But the original drummer who left for a couple records there, he's back now, I think, for the newest one. But he has a rap project called Weird Science. Like
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I
just didn't know that.
I remember hearing about them a while ago.
Yeah,
I never
mean
listened to them.
it's like I don't think I'd listen to it if it wasn't him, But I do like hip hop, but it's very selective. So that's kind of what I've been really jamming. And then Bon Iver or Bon Iver.
Bon Iver?
Yeah, that's like
I know. I only realized a year ago that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, I thought it was Bon Iver. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's whatever it is. He's probably he's kind of my current I'm obsessed, and I always was, but just some of the stuff that he's putting out recently, it's just so good. He's just incredible artists. It blows my mind.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And where can people find you online, Nick?
You can find it at nickthomasmusic.com. On Facebook, it's Nick Thomas Music as well. I don't know if that's true.
I know on Twitter it's Nick Thomas
I'm
Band.
pretty sure it is.
Dang it.
Because
I'm sorry, I messed this up every time.
that's okay. Well, no, on Twitter, see, they limit the characters you can have on Twitter, so you can never get exactly what you want, and it drives me nuts.
Oh, yeah.
But you luck out, because Nick Thomas Band, that's what you call yourself, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nick Thomas Band on Twitter and Nick Thomas Music on Facebook.
There you go. You were right. Hey, Nick, this has been fantastic, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been our pleasure.
My pleasure. All on this end, my friends.
Definitely come back soon. Maybe when you're working on the next record or whatever's going on. Just we'd love to have you back on.
I would love it, man. Can't wait.
All right. And thank you to our listeners as well, and viewers and everyone tuning in. Thanks for watching Bridge the Atlantic. If you like what you saw, make sure to like, favorite, and most importantly, subscribe so that you don't miss each week's episode.
Click on the videos above us if you'd like to see more, and please feel free to leave us a comment letting us know what you think of the show.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and subscribe to us on iTunes so that you can listen to us on the go. Thanks again for being awesome, and we'll see you on next week's episode.